Good morning, Facebook. Hello, hello. I felt inspired this morning to go live on the topic of truth, shame, and coping mechanisms. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mandy J. I support many people in their healing process. My main focus is parents. Some of you may know that. And yeah, if you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Please stick around and hit the follow button if you want to see more content like this. So before we start today, I'm going to take a minute to ground, fully get in my body, feel the collective, and also invite you to do the same. This transmission today is a transmission, and it's meant to be interacted with. I'm not here to talk at you. I'm here to interact with your energy field and support you in your healing process. So the more that you're in your body feeling through this transmission today, the more you're going to get out of it. Yeah, so let's see, any other housekeeping before I ground here? Also, please share this. This is going to be applicable to all humans. So if you feel inspired to share, I am going to be doing a drawing. So whoever shares this is going to be put in a drawing for a free day of Voxer support with me. Voxer is a walkie-talkie app where we can communicate back and forth. So if you're interested in doing that with me on any topic, it can be related to this live, and we can kind of work through some of the transmission together on the Voxer, or if it's something else that you've been desiring presence and support around, I'd love to support you with that too. So please share this far and wide to any groups that you think might benefit on your public page, wherever you feel is right. Okay, let's get into it. First, I want to invite you into a deep breath and turning your awareness and your presence and your focus on your own body. In, out. Two more in, out. In, out. Okay, as I tap in fully with my channel, I'm going to bring you guys a little bit closer here. What's coming through is to invite you to notice if you feel antsy during the live. If you've been interacting with the internet, you can be in a space of like wanting those quick dopamine hits, and that's not what this live is going to give you. This is a healing opportunity. This is not going to give you that. So if you get antsy, if you notice yourself in that space, please save this for later. This is going to end up on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to download it. You know, lives now do not stay forever. They get deleted, I think, after 30 days. So if you want to be sure you don't miss this and you want to come back to it later and really give it your full presence, I invite you to go subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can find that in the featured section of my Facebook. I have my links there. So yeah. Okay, let's see what else. Inviting you to relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. You can set an intention with yourself. And if you want to do that in your own way, that's beautiful. Or you can repeat after me and say, I choose with my conscious free will to release anything from before this, and to release anything I'm worried about later, and to be fully present with this live transmission. I intend for my body to receive everything it's meant to receive today. Beautiful. Dropping a grounding cord from your root chakra down to the center of the earth. Inviting you to feel the solidity of the earth underneath you. And to drop your body deeper. Feel gravity gently pulling you down like a hug. And the earth, maybe you see tree roots wrapping her arms around you as you feel deeply held. The information in this live today is going to be delivered intentionally, slowly, and very grounded and with a very potent energy. And it's meant to be delivered that way so that it penetrates the body, okay? Okay, so what originally inspired this transmission is an interaction I had with a client of mine who is slowly, through her healing process, letting go of alcohol. And she has really reached a place where she is drinking a lot less. She's not going the cold turkey route. That is another route one can take and can work for some, and also others experience a lot of issues around the cold turkey route, which I'm not going to get into today, but it's important for you to know that she's healing and has noticed a shift around alcohol. And with the recent holiday, 4th of July here in the States, coupled with a loss in her life, she drank, and she drank more than she has been recently. I want to bring you closer to me. Okay, there we go. That's better. So she drank more than she has been recently, okay? And some might call this like a relapse, right? And she was experiencing a lot of shame around it. She was unaware of the shame, feeling like she was in a space of acceptance. And when we hopped on our session, I could tell she was holding a lot of shame in her body around it. And she had also messaged me when she was under the influence, and our package currently doesn't include messenger support. So she was also, that was the shame she was aware of. She was really aware of shame around that. She was feeling a lot of guilt around that. And so when we hopped on the call, I was supporting her through the energies of that and really guiding her to not be afraid to feel the shame and to just feel through it together with me. And so many people struggle with, well, alcohol in particular, but coping mechanisms in general. And the energetics of coping mechanisms are the same, whether it's food, alcohol, picking your skin, picking your nails, drugs, television, sex. There's all kinds of things, as you know, that we can use to cope. And so as we heal, there's a natural process that happens as we heal where we let go of coping naturally because we are healing the core wounds that we are unconsciously coping with. So what I want to share with you, what I want to help shift for you today is the coping mechanism is not the problem, and you are not the problem. Shame is the issue, and when we focus on shame as the issue, real transformation can begin to happen. When we begin to practice feeling through shame, real transformation can begin to happen. Because what happens is we get in this loop with ourselves where we are experiencing shame from returning to the coping mechanism in whatever capacity we did. And then shame is what we need to cope with at the same time. So what I support my clients in doing is creating an upward spiral around their coping mechanisms, not quitting cold turkey. And some people like to go that route. And what I suggest is feeling through the feelings that are coming up. You're going to feel more intensity, more intense feelings when you do it this way. So you really have to be ready, and you need to have the support to feel through those feelings when you completely cut out a coping mechanism. All the feelings are going to come up. So let's see what else wants to come through around this. I'm going to take a second to ground. So here's another intricate piece I want to share with you. So when you experience going back to a coping mechanism, relapse, quote unquote, and you are experiencing, what's happening is your body is trying to integrate the truth, right? What you want to do is feel the natural consequences of the choice and build the energetic and emotional capacity to make a different choice next time. But what happens is the truth comes in, and the truth is wrapped in a cloak of this shame. And a lot of times what happens is our inner abusers grab onto the truth. Like, oh, drinking that much isn't good for you. You can feel the shame laced in the way I expressed that. Drinking, it's not good for you. You really shouldn't do that. See what happens? See what happens? You can feel this energy. And so the body has trouble integrating the truth because it's coming through our shame filters. So our job is, when we relapse, to feel through the shame, to notice the shame as well. It's not about what's being said to yourself. It's about how it's being said. What are the energies with which you're communicating with yourself? And this is what I said to my client. I was like, yeah, it might be totally true that this wasn't in your best interests, right? And we can unpack that. But first, we need to sit with the shame. And I guided her to, at different points in her body. And then I guided her to say to herself, I don't deserve to be berated for my mistakes. And that's the other thing that weaves in to this issue, is wounding around mistakes in general. And so that's another thread that needs to be cleared to support you in healing your coping mechanisms. And this is what happened in our childhood too. We made a mistake, we were shamed, we weren't able to integrate the lesson at all because we didn't have a parent. They were trapped in control patterns of their own. And so it came out as shame and control and no discussion. That's bad, and just don't do it. So that's the paradigm with which we're trying to heal our coping mechanisms unconsciously. That's bad, and just don't do it. And it's multi-layered. So as you see, when we are in the process of healing our coping mechanisms, each time we go back to the coping mechanism is an opportunity. What am I clearing this time? Can I notice how I showed up differently? Can I notice the improvements? And can I take stock of how I'm feeling? And gently and lovingly be in reality with myself about how I genuinely feel the day after. Or if it's another coping mechanism, for me, it's been food. How do I feel an hour later? And all the shame and all the stories get in the way of us even being able to feel, because shame keeps us out of our body. So the more we clear the shame and bring home parts of us, the more we can actually feel our body and feel the truth of how our body is receiving a glass of wine, how our body is receiving a cheeseburger. The more we can receive the truth of how our body is receiving a TV show. What were the energies in that TV show? How do you genuinely feel? Are you thinking about the TV show now all day? Are you thinking about the character? Is that running in the back of your mind? Does it really feel good? Or did it just feel good in the moment because you got to escape and you got a dopamine hits from it, right? And I want to be clear, there's no shame in that either. There's no shame in seeking dopamine. We all do it. It's a matter of awareness and through the process bringing more and more gentleness, self-curiosity, and emotional and energetic capacity to make new choices. Okay, let me see what else wants to come through around this. And the other thing that comes into play is external relationships. So if you have anyone in your life that feels tension around your coping mechanisms and their communication with you is coming out as pressure because they have their own fear and their own stuff in their body around it, it can be it's just an extra challenge. You can absolutely still heal and you can field that energy. But it creates an extra challenge. And in some cases, it's healthy to take space from that person and take time to heal so that you can get clear about how you treat yourself. Because when those energies are coming externally, intensity, pressure, beratement, shame, in any form or intensity is not going to be supportive to you. So if you can step away for a time or limit contact so you can get clear and anchor in, this is how I treat myself, this is the energy with which I show up for myself, then when you reconnect, it's easier to feel that because you've anchored in a new way of being already. What else? I want to take a moment to connect you with your own body. Check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling as you receive this. I also really want to recommend to revisit this. And, with a live, you can't, well, actually, maybe you can pause with a live. What I want to encourage you to do is revisit this and pause when you feel things in your body. Revisit this several times. Notice how it feels each time. As we heal, the same transmission feels different. It's like when you read a book and you receive something different from the book each time you read it and as you integrate. And it's the same thing with, maybe you have powerful teachers you watch and you've watched their videos several times and you've experienced the same thing. The more you can get into your body and actually feel through the information. Okay, how is that landing for me this time? Okay, was I defensive here this time? Okay, let me pause. Let me get curious about that. Why am I defensive? Is there a part of me that feels unseen? Do I need to let that energy move through? I noticed myself wanting to shut down during this part of the video. That's important. I need to sit with that. Why do I want to shut down there? I noticed this part made me feel really seen. Okay, I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to let that happen. I'm going to let myself feel really seen, and I'm going to see if actually some tears come up and if I have a release. There's another piece about shame wanting to come through. It's important to sit with shame coming up in our adult life because it's mirroring when we were shamed in our childhood. Shame is shame. So let's say you're sitting with shame and some memories from your childhood begin to come up, asking to be integrated. It may seem completely unrelated to what's going on in the present. Follow the thread, follow what's coming up because it's always connected. Shame is shame. So the shame from this memory is going to be connected to your coping mechanism in some way. We cope with shame until we heal. Shame is us pushing a part of ourselves away, a vulnerable aspect of us that we're pushing away. And when we sit with the shame, then we can actually move through it and bring the gentleness in, bring those aspects home to the body and move from less and less shame moving forward. Because when I want to take you into an example of shame and beratement, okay? So let's say you're shaming and berating yourself for, let's continue with the alcohol example. You've relapsed, you drank more than you have been, and you're like, oh, I screwed up, all these things, right? And you're feeling shame about that, which is preventing you from even taking stock of the truth of how your body is feeling, right? You're trapped in the shame. You just want to avoid the shame and just not do it again so you don't have to feel through the shame, right? The answer is just don't do it again. And then I won't have to feel the shame again. There's the spiral, right? So, oh God, I lost the thread. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so what's happening when you're in that spiral is you're disconnected from how it felt as a child to be shamed and berated. There is a memory in there where you were being shamed and berated for something and talked down to and controlled, and you don't even remember what it was like to be on the receiving end of that fully, but it's in the body. It's in the body. And so when you begin to say, I am safe, I can feel through shame. I can feel this shame right now. It's going to connect you with the times where you're going to begin shaking. You're going to have trauma shake out of your body. You're going to begin crying. And what that is it's all the energy packed into that memory that couldn't be expressed in the moment. So your parent was shaming and berating you. They were putting energy in your body. You couldn't be with yourself and how you were actually feeling. And so you left your body and dissociated from your body. And your parent continued to put energy in you. Their anger, frustration, shame. And so when you practice sitting with that shame, you're gonna reach the deeper level and you're gonna release that energy from that memory that's been stored in your body. And the more we do that, because that's what we're coping with. We're coping with all that stored energy from our childhood. Okay, checking in with your body again. Notice how you're feeling. You know, and you'll want to be curious and be like, what part of myself am I shaming right now? The part of myself that made this choice. How can I love the part of myself that made this choice? How can I see the truth of what led to this choice? How can I support myself differently next time so that I might have the capacity to make another choice? But you don't want to take that stock from a dysregulated place. So feeling through the shame first. That's what allows us to take gentle, truthful stock and brings more awareness in. Let me see if there's anything else here. I think that's complete. That's complete. I want to invite you to take another deep breath with me. Feel that grounding cord that we created with the earth. Feel those roots around you. Breathe in. Another one. I want to thank you again for being here today. I want to make a request again that if you feel inspired to share this, please, please do. There are a lot of people that would benefit from this. And anyone who shares, I'm going to be going through and looking at all of those shares this week. We'll give it a week. And then whoever shares the post, I'm going to do a draw for a free day of Voxer support. So if you're interested in winning a free day of Voxer support with me, where we can connect and talk about your specific struggles, your life, what you're currently healing through, what you'd love to experience a shift around, we can make big shifts in one day of Voxer support. So please share this to enter that draw. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this work on this planet and for healing with me. So grateful that you're here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.